about the permissibility of praying in congregational prayer and leaving spaces, as we have seen some masajid in Indonesia, in Bangladesh, Bangladesh, and recently in Pakistan. Let me clarify a couple of things. Number one, when the medical authorities say it is contagious, it is pandemic, and the social distancing is required, then trust me, it is perfectly fine to skip Salatul Jama'ah and pray at home with your family in Jama'ah, and that counts as a full Jama'ah. Now, when mashallah it slows down, but there is a little bit of fear, so as we say, prevention is better than cure. Or those who still insist on praying in Jama'ah and leaving the spaces for the means of protection and keeping the social distancing. When we look at it from a fiqh perspective, we have one hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ commanded lining up the rows and closing the gaps and not leaving spaces. But even if there are spaces, okay, average spaces, like some people do not like to attach their feet to the person next to them, the prayer is still valid. The other hadith says, لا صلاة لمنفرد خلف الصف. If somebody prays by himself behind the row with his choice, so instead of filling up the gap, he decided, I'm going to pray myself. So the whole prayer for this person becomes invalid. But this is by choice. The hadith of the companion who asked the Prophet ﷺ that he cannot stand up in the prayer. He said, صَلِّ قَائِمًا فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ فَقَاعِدًا فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ فَعَلَى جَنْبٍ. That gives us an impression that there is a great deal of flexibility to skip even what is rukn, what is pillar, in case that you're not capable to do it optimally. So standing up in the salah, whether by yourself or in congregation, is a must. But if you cannot stand up, sit down. If you cannot sit down, then you may pray while lying down or on a side. So for the reason of prevention of the spread of the disease and keeping the social distancing, the prayer becomes valid. Wallahu a'lam. So we do not blame on those who are attending the funeral prayer and keeping a meter or so between each two persons. Or if they still intend to pray Taraweeh in congregation and leave their distances.